Gym in Exton, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia, 45 minutes outside. This is going to be the beginning of what we're calling the hottest furnace. It comes from a quote: if one wishes to study the finest steel, one should look for the hottest furnace. That's what we say here: the finest steel is forged in the hottest furnace. So for a long time at the Dragon Gym, for our mixed martial arts and our traditional martial arts, we've been looking to take things a step further, to be sure that the people coming out of here fight, to be sure in our own mind we were getting everything we could out of our students for our students. Recently, the head instructor of the school, Somnath Sikdar, was a 4th Dan Taekwondo, good friend of mine, passed the Russian kettlebell instructor certification. Shortly after that, we came across an article by John Engham, who's a senior RKC, who I met a couple years back. He's a 7th Dan Taekwondo. The article is called Train Hard, Fight Easy. And in response to that, we came up with the Dragon Gym Ultimate Fighting Challenge. So the test consists of what is now called the Secret Service Snatch Test. It's based on a Russian competition. You're going to take a Russian kettlebell and snatch it overhead 200 times in 10 minutes. This is a tremendously taxing event. It's towards the outer edge of strength endurance, lactic acid and fatigue and pain tolerance of most people. And then immediately after, we're going to fight 3 3-minute rounds against 3 fresh opponents. As of now, it's myself and Sam, who are head instructors here, and then 3 relatively new kids who have chosen to jump in with us, follow along with the schedule we're going to have online. For the next 4 months, we're going to be killing ourselves to try to get ready for this. On April Fool's Day 2010, we're going to have some Muay Thai and Taekwondo and different instructors here. We're going to get a rack of fresh opponents, and all of us are going to put ourselves through this. We're going to get in the fire, so to speak.
Somnath Sikdar, 4th Dan Taekwondo, recently got my RKC certification, the instructor in Taekwondo and Russian kettlebells. Started Taekwondo when I was 6 years old. It was just one of those things I wanted to do as a kid. Showed some talent on it early on, just stuck with it. I actually started teaching when I was an early teen, 14. Taught all through high school, taught through college, came back, worked as an engineer for a couple of years. Now I'm professionally instructing martial arts. Yeah, I used to compete when I was in college. My team was generally 1st or 2nd place in the INCTL. It's like a Northeast Collegiate Taekwondo League. Was state champion in 2001. Started with kettlebells a couple years ago. Met Brian Petty at a local health club. He started showing me some stuff with the kettlebell. Started working out, and I found that it was one of the best, cross-trainer conditioning exercises that I could do that related to my martial arts training. The idea of breathing, maximizing your effort, concentrating on technique first. These principles are hard style RKC principles, but they're also martial arts principles, so they tie in together perfectly. As you progress in your training, you need to find what the next big thing is. As martial artists, we're always trying to test ourselves. So, as an upcoming young student, it's black belt test. Then it's your next degree, then your next degree. My last big test was 4th degree black belt. After that was the RKC certification, which was a huge test, tremendous obstacle to overcome. Now we're just looking for the next thing to test ourselves. We might not be competing regularly, but the hottest furnace test is something for us to do to continue training, keep that high mark set for ourselves and our students. RKC is the Russian Kettlebell Challenge. It's basically an instructor certification course. It's a style of kettlebell use that we are part of. We're under the RKC umbrella. I expect that everybody will grow a lot physically, but also I expect that they'll grow a lot mentally and emotionally. Going through this kind of crucible together as a team always makes people grow more than they would on their own, but also grow together. As a group of individuals, it only enhances our training. When we train with each other and push each other, and overall, the outcome is great.
My name's Brian Petty. I'm a Russian kettlebell instructor, and I also teach mixed martial arts, bare knuckle boxing at Dragon Gym in Exton, Pennsylvania. We're about 45 minutes outside Philadelphia, Chester County. I'm also one of the 2 people who got us all into this, which is the Dragon Gym Ultimate Fighting Challenge, or the hottest furnace, where we are going to prepare for the next 4 months to do 200 kettlebell snatches, followed by fighting 3 separate people, all fresh opponents, full contact, kickboxing and grappling, as a way of testing ourselves, sort of a big people black belt test. I got into martial arts when I was really young. I was a little kid with a big mouth, and it took me a long time to grow into it. So in the meantime, I started with Shotokan Karate, then I lived overseas and trained in Philippine Eskrima, Muay Thai. Came back here and boxed, did some more Muay Thai, competed in Sambo and Judo, and then for the past 14 years I've been a professional bouncer, so it's a different kind of martial art since then. Russian kettlebells look like a cannonball with a handle. You'll be seeing a lot of them in this show, sort of the basis of the first part of this test. They're a weight training implement that was brought here about 9-10 years ago now by a gentleman named Pavel Tsatsunin. He was a physical training instructor for the Russian Special Forces, former Soviet Special Forces. And he brought a method of using kettlebells here that's a whole strength training system. It just turns out to be the baddest thing anybody's ever found for fighters. Been able to get kettlebells here since about 2002. I had some of the first ones that were available for production, and it's a case of anybody who fights gets them in their hand, uses them a few times, sometimes like me only once, and knows just they're the right thing. They are going to improve your performance. I remember thinking as soon as I grabbed them, this is what I've been trying to get out of weight training as long as I've touched weights, because I'm a martial artist first, weight training secondary to being able to punch people in the mouth. Well, there's two expectations, or there's two conflicting sides to this. On one hand, I'm doing this as a coach. So the question is, can I take 3 kids, relatively inexperienced, and in 4 months, can I push them hard enough but not break them to get them to the point where they can handle this level of pain, fatigue, discomfort, lack of gas intolerance, and then still keep enough heart and spirit to fight. Nobody's expecting anybody to win these 3 rounds. But that level of backbone, that level of perseverance and willpower and pain tolerance is pretty extraordinary today. So a lot of what's going to worry me in the next 4 months is that I'm doing right by the people who are involved in this with me, because after all, this was my damn idea. The other side is me as a fighter. I range anywhere up to 250 pounds. I apparently look a little bit intimidating. At this point in my life, I get paid a lot of money to babysit dipshit little drum kids. So nothing really challenges me. Except for the actual Russian kettlebell instructor certification workshops for 3 days, as I like to call us paying money to be in the Russian military. Nothing really pushes me to the edge of what I can do, and I know the next 4 months are going to do that. It's been a long time since I had to give really everything day after day. I got ready for Golden Gloves this past year with my kids, but I also knew there was no Masters Division and I wasn't fighting. This is the first time there's not going to be a way out for me for a long time. See how that holds up. Sam's a lot younger than me. He's competed more recently than me. He's kind of the standard I hold myself to in terms of him just kind of having ice in his veins. We sparred once, except all I did was wake up. I didn't even see him really move. He just roundhouse kicked me. I watched him on tape. It worries me. So he has a level of calm and poise and a basis in traditional martial arts. It's a lot of years more than I have. It's a lot for me to measure up to. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried. You know, he's kind of the first person 100 pounds lighter than me that I didn't feel like I could just slam into a wall if I got real frustrated. And that's a new thing for me to deal with. So we're not gonna be fighting each other, but just the competition of us being in here day after day, standing next to each other, doing our own thing, getting ready for this, and knowing that an awful lot of people are gonna be following it. It's a lot of pressure. Plus, I don't know where they're going to find 3 people my size for me to fight. Also, something concerning me.